英国となりました。ただいまから広島
August 6th, 2003. Hiroshima is observing yet another atomic bomb day. On this day, 58 years ago, Hiroshima became the first place on Earth to have been atomic bombed. Standing near the Hypocenter, the former Hiroshima Prefectural Products Exhibition Hall was almost completely destroyed, and it became the A-bomb dome. The bomb dropped by a U.S. warplane killed more than 50,000 people on that single day. The 58th Peace Memorial Ceremony is being held at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. 50,000 people are in attendance. I'm Hideshi Hara in Hiroshima with a special live coverage of the ceremony broadcast on NHK's domestic and international television networks and on Radio Japan. The mayor of Hiroshima, Tadatoshi Akiba, and representatives of the bereaved families are now placing a list of atomic bomb victims in the black stone chest under the cenotaph for the atomic bomb victims. On the list are the names of 5,050 hibakusha, the atomic bomb survivors, who have died in the past year, and those who died during the blast 58 years ago and have been identified only recently. The name on the register now totals 231,920. Nuclear weapons or nuclear development have made headlines many times this year. In March, the U.S.-led forces started their attack on Iraq, claiming that Iraq possesses weapons of mass destruction. Shortly after, fresh suspicion arose that Iran is pursuing a nuclear development program. In April, at bilateral talks with the United States, North Korea claimed it has become a nuclear power. North Korea's claim was a shock to Hiroshima's hibakusha. Lee Sil-gun, 74 years old. As the leader of a group of North Korean hibakushas in Japan, he works to gain support for others like him. Also, he has been appealing to abolish nuclear weapons, but so far he's been disappointed. North Korea's new nuclear policy made him furious. Each year, a ceremony is held in front of this monument to mourn the Korean victims. North Korean Lee Sil-gun hopes that increased cooperation between North and South Koreans in Japan will lead to increased assistance for the A-bomb survivors living in North Korea. Japan does not currently have diplomatic ties with the North. It was only 2 years ago that the government of Japan started a survey on the number of hibakusha in North Korea. So far, they have found some 900. North Korea's nuclear development through cold water over the passionate efforts of Mr. Lee and others who have fought for a world free of nuclear weapons. He is determined to protest to his own country if its claim of possessing nuclear weapons is proven true. Mr. Lee is attending this year's peace ceremony with an even greater sense of desperation. The city of Hiroshima invited all the nuclear powers to this year's ceremony. Only Russia sent a representative. The city also sent an invitation to North Korea. It did not send back a reply. Another disrespectful incident happened only 5 days ago, saddening the Hibakusha community. It happened at the foot of the Children's Peace Monument, the Tower of 1,000 Cranes. Paper crane, one of the symbols for Hiroshima's wish for eternal peace, was set on fire by a university student. The monument was erected in memory of Sadako Sasaki, who lost her life at the age of 12 from leukemia. She was exposed to radiation when she was 2. Japanese tradition has it that if one folds 1,000 paper cranes, the wish will come true. Sadako kept on folding cranes night and day until she finally passed away. Over the years, people around the world have continued to donate paper cranes. Each paper bird carries a sincere wish for peace on their small wings. 140,000 of the precious birds were burned. The thoughtless instant failed to discourage people from sending in more paper cranes to mourn the souls of Sadako and other victims. We are now broadcasting live from the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park on this 58th anniversary of the atomic bombing in Hiroshima.
Kenka, Hiroshima Shicho, Hiroshima Shigikai Shicho.
We are now witnessing the wreath and flower laying ceremony at the foot of the cenotaph. The mayor of Hiroshima, Tadatoshi Akiba, is the first in the line of flower presenters. Mr. Akiba sent a letter of protest to U.S. President George W. Bush immediately after the United States started its war against Iraq. Mr. Akiba, along with the mayor of the other atomic bomb city, Nagasaki, is calling on the universities around the world to include lectures on the A-bomb experience of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in their curriculum. As a former university professor himself, Mayor Akiba taught such a peace study course in June. Prime Minister Joichiro Koizumi is now paying his respects for the victims. Prime Minister Koizumi has consistently supported the U.S. military actions. On his initiative, a law was enacted last month to send Japan's self-defense forces to Iraq. They are to provide humanitarian assistance in the non-combat areas. But in Iraq, sporadic attacks on the U.S. forces continue. It is impossible to draw a clear line between combat and non-combat zones. Most of the Hibakusha citizens groups in Hiroshima opposed this law fearing that the SDF personnel may be involved in combat. Younger generations are taking interest in bringing peace to the world. High school students in Hiroshima invited 12 high school students in Philadelphia to this ceremony. Laura Graham is one of the 12 Philadelphia students. Some of her neighbors went to the Iraq War. Laura believes that war was a war for peace. The Hiroshima students hope this will be an opportunity for American youth to think again about the meaning of peace and war, especially in the wake of the Iraq War. After the ceremony, Laura plans to visit the Peace Memorial Museum and see the exhibits, which are vivid reminders of the horror of the atomic bombing. Also among the attendees is an Iraqi citizen. Jawad Al-Ali is a doctor in Basra, southern Iraq. He is here to connect with people of Hiroshima and share their wish for world peace. Dr. Al-Ali's visit to Hiroshima has another dimension. He studies the effects on the human body of depleted uranium weapons used in the 1990 Gulf War, as well as in this year's Iraq War. Dr. Al-Ali is seeing more and more patients who suffer from leukemia, breast and thyroid, and other types of cancers. Hiroshima has been home to institutions and experts on radiation effects to human bodies for more than half a century. Dr. Al-Ali has high hopes for Hiroshima's contributions to the suffering in the Middle East. 58 years after the atomic bombing, the average age of survivors for hibakusha in Hiroshima has surpassed 71. Quite a few endure worsening medical conditions. Sumio Shigezumi is 75 years old. He is attending the Peace Memorial Ceremony for the first time in his life. He was exposed to radiation 2 kilometers from the hypocenter. Mr. Shigezumi suffered from throat and stomach cancer. He had 2/3 of his stomach removed last year. Mr. Shigezumi has requested the government to recognize his illnesses as being related to the atomic bombing. His requests were denied. So Mr. Shigezumi filed a lawsuit against the government in June. This is one in a series of similar cases sprouting up across the country. As of today, 76 hibakushas have taken legal action. The lingering pain for 58 years after the bombing should not be neglected. That's Mr. Shigezumi's plea. This nursing home for the elderly survivors is called Funairi Mutsumi-en. Living here are 100 hibakushas. Kazue Furumoto is 74 years old. She was 2 kilometers away from the ground zero at the time of the exposure. This is her 15th summer at this nursing home. She still misses her cousin who was never found after the blast. Ms. Furumoto has been reluctant to talk about her nightmares until now, but with possibilities of war or nuclear development mounting, she became more willing to share her experiences. Now she wants to convey everything that she knows about being exposed to radiation and living more than half a century as a hibakusha.
間もなく8時15分になります。
We are now approaching 8:15 a.m. At exactly this time, 58 years ago, the atomic bomb was exploded over the city of Hiroshima. There will now be a minute of silent prayer.
ご起立願います。黙祷。黙祷終わり、ご着席願います。平和宣言、広島市長。
The mayor of Hiroshima, Mr. Tadatoshi Akiba, is going to deliver the peace declaration. Mr. Akiba has been dedicated to Hiroshima peace activities long before he took office 4 years ago. When he was a math professor at a university in the United States back in 1979, he launched a program to send foreign journalists to Hiroshima and Nagasaki to learn about the atomic bombings. Through the 10-year program, more than 30 journalists came to Japan.
This year again, summer's heat reminds us of the blazing hellfire that swept over this very spot 58 years ago. The world without nuclear weapons and beyond war that our hibakusha have sought for so long appears to be slipping deeper into a thick cover of dark clouds that they fear at any minute could become mushroom clouds, spilling black rain. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the central international agreement guiding the elimination of nuclear weapons, is on the verge of collapse. The chief cause is U.S. nuclear policy that by openly declaring the possibility of a preemptive nuclear first strike and calling for resumed research into mini-nukes and other so-called usable nuclear weapons appears to worship nuclear weapons as God. However, nuclear weapons are not the only problem. Acting as if the United Nations Charter and the Japanese Constitution don't even exist, the world has suddenly veered sharply away from post-war toward pre-war mentality. As the U.S.-UK-led war on Iraq made clear, the assertion that war is peace is being trumpeted as truth, conducted with disregard for the multitudes around the world demanding a peaceful solution through continued UN inspections. This war slaughtered innocent women, children, and the elderly. It destroyed the environment, most notably through radioactive contamination that will be with us for many years. And the weapons of mass destruction that served as the excuse for the war have yet to be found. However, as President Lincoln once said, you can't fool all the people all the time. Now is the time for us to focus once again on the truth that darkness can never be dispelled by darkness, only by light. The rule of power is darkness. The rule of law is light. In the darkness of retaliation, the proper path for human civilization is illuminated by the spirit of reconciliation born of the Hibakusha's determination that no one else should ever suffer as we did. Lifting up that light, the aging Hibakusha are calling for U.S. President George Bush to visit Hiroshima. We all support that call and hereby demand that President Bush, Chairman Kim Jong-il of North Korea, and the leaders of all nuclear weapon states come to Hiroshima and confront the reality of nuclear war. We must somehow convey to them that nuclear weapons are utterly evil, inhumane, and illegal under international law. In the meanwhile, we expect that the facts about Hiroshima and Nagasaki will be shared throughout the world, and that the Hiroshima-Nagasaki Peace Study Course will be established in ever more colleges and universities. To strengthen the NPT regime, the city of Hiroshima is calling on all members of the World Conference of Mayors for Peace to take emergency action to promote the abolition of nuclear weapons. Our goal is to gather a strong delegation of mayors representing cities throughout the world to participate in the NPT Review Conference that will take place in New York in 2005. The 60th year after the atomic bomb. In New York, we will lobby national delegates for the start of negotiations at the United Nations on a universal nuclear weapons convention, providing for the complete elimination of nuclear weapons. At the same time, Hiroshima calls on politicians, religious professionals, academics, writers, journalists, teachers, artists, athletes, and other leaders with influence. We must establish a climate that immediately confronts even casual comments that appear to approve of nuclear weapons or war. To prevent war and to abolish the absolute evil of nuclear weapons, we must pray, speak, and even act to that effect in our daily lives. The Japanese government, which publicly asserts its status as the only A-bombed nation, must fulfill the responsibilities that accompany that status, both at home and abroad. Specifically, it must adopt as national precepts the three new non-nuclear principles: allow no production, allow no possession, and allow no use of nuclear weapons anywhere in the world, and work conscientiously toward an Asian nuclear-free zone. It must also provide full support to all Hibakusha everywhere, including those exposed in black rain areas and those who live overseas. On this 58th August 6th, we offer our heartfelt condolences to the souls of all atomic bomb victims, and we renew our pledge to do everything in our power to abolish nuclear weapons and eliminate war altogether by the time we turn this world over to our children.
2003年平成15年8月6日広島市長秋葉忠俊。
That was the mayor of Hiroshima, Tadatoshi Akiba, delivering the peace declaration. The English translation was read by NHK World's John Northcott. In his address, Mr. Akiba renewed his strong concerns regarding the critical situation of nuclear development in the world. He called for leaders of the nuclear powers to come to Hiroshima and see with their own eyes how devastating a nuclear war can be. Each year since the first peace declaration in 1947, the mayors of Hiroshima City have renewed their determination to seek a world free of nuclear weapons. Next, the commitment to peace by two children, Hiroyuki Fuji and Mizuki Kataoka. Hiroyuki wrote the commitment based on what he heard from his grandmother, who lost family members in the blast. Mizuki's grandmother also lost her parents and brothers in the bombing. Mizuki has made a silent prayer on every August 6th. Both Hiroki and Mizuki are 6th grade elementary school students.
We, as human beings, all wish for a happy life, full of hope and dreams. On this day, 58 years ago, a nuclear bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. The people had been looking forward to a better tomorrow. One single atomic bomb robbed them of their hopes and dreams in an instant. It wiped out the greenery. It wiped out the whole city. Instead, it left profound sorrow and agony in many people's hearts. Now we'd like to introduce a poem by Senkichi Toge. It's called Give Back the Human. Give back my father. Give back my mother. Give grandpa back. Grandma back. Give my sons and daughters back. Give me back myself. Give back the human race. As long as this life lasts. This life. Give back peace. That will never end. A peaceful world that Senkichi Toge wished for in his poem is also our eternal wish. Today, a massive amount of nuclear weaponry is stored around the world. In the name of justice, wars and conflicts are repeated, and children are being victimized. Even here at home, we have a problem of bullying and violence at school. What is needed to eradicate the causes of wars, conflicts, bullying, and violence? It's caring for others. It's the effort to be tolerant, to try and understand each other, and to appreciate each other, regardless of the differences in our characters or ideas. That will bring us to the threshold of a peaceful world. No violence, but dialogue. It is one of the things that we, children of the world, can do for peace. Making donations through UNICEF and giving up seats for elderly people on the train are also our ways of contributing. When we have the courage to actually do what we can do for other people, that's when we see smiles on the face of people all over the world. We, as the children of Hiroshima, will keep appealing against the horror of nuclear weapons. We, as the children of Hiroshima, will let the world know the incredible efforts by our parents and grandparents who miraculously revived a city which was completely devastated. We, as the children of Hiroshima, will pledge to make sure paper cranes, the symbol of Hiroshima's wish for peace, will take flight from here and soar all over the world, carrying the message of peace.
月6日、子ども代表、広島市立段原小学校6年、片岡瑞希。広島市立南関温小学校6年、藤井博之。
That was the commitment to peace by Hiroyuki Fuji and Mizuki Kataoka. The poet introducing the commitment to peace, Sankichi Toge, was at his house in Hiroshima at the time of the atomic bombing. In the ruins of the city, he carried on literary activities. In 1951, he sent his A-bomb poetry as a representative work of Japan to an international youth conference. It created a sensation all over the world. Next, we'll hear an address by Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi. This will be his third address at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Ceremony since he became Prime Minister in April 2001.
Today, the Peace Memorial Ceremony is being held on the 58th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the souls of those who lost their lives. My heart also goes to the people who continue to suffer from the after effects of the atomic bombing. Being the only country in the history of mankind to have experienced atomic bombings, Japan is firmly determined that the tragedies of Hiroshima and Nagasaki should never be repeated. Japan is and will remain unwaveringly committed to its war-renouncing constitution and the three principles of non-possession, non-production, and non-entry of nuclear arms.
核不拡散の取り組みを推し進め、核兵器の廃絶に全力で取り組んでまいります。被爆者の方々に対し、これまで保健、医療および福祉にわたる総合的な援助。
Japan will lead the international community in promoting nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. We will do all we can in our power to abolish nuclear arms. Japan will further step up its call on other countries to ratify the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty at an early date. For the atomic bomb victims, the Japanese government has worked to improve measures to offer them comprehensive support. This includes health care, medical, and welfare services. Recently, we also began subsidizing travel expenses for atomic bomb survivors who live abroad and come to Japan for medical treatment. We also revised our measures so that those people who have been recognized as atomic bomb victims would be able to continue receiving payments even after they leave the country. I pledge to continue making sincere efforts to promote further assistance measures by giving due consideration to the circumstances faced by the aging survivors. Since the end of World War II, Hiroshima has greatly developed and has become a city of international peace and culture. I would like to pay my deepest respects to the many people who have made efforts up to today to rebuild post-war Hiroshima. The wish of the people of Hiroshima, who have consistently worked toward creating a peaceful world after the end of the war, has reached the hearts of the people in the rest of the world, along with the name of Hiroshima. The word Hiroshima has become a symbol for peace to think about worldwide peace. Every year, many people who come to visit the city. I hope the city will continue to be one that attracts many peace-seeking people. Finally, I once again pray for the repose of those who perished in the atomic bombing. May all the survivors and the bereaved families live in peace and happiness.
That was an address by Prime Minister Koizumi. Now the number of hibakusha living in Japan is about 280,000. There is a strong sense of commitment among hibakushas, not only in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but in other parts of the country as well, to preserve the testimonies of their experiences. In addition to evidence provided by hibakushas in Hiroshima, a pavilion standing at one corner of the Peace Memorial Park decided to exhibit videotaped testimonies by such survivors. Against the wish of hibakusha, we have witnessed the growing threat of nuclear proliferation this year. Hiroshima will never, ever give up appealing its strongest and most sincere calls for the total abolition of nuclear weapons. Until the day comes, Hiroshima will continue to advocate against the horror of nuclear war and the importance of peace. This concludes NHK World's live coverage of the Peace Memorial Ceremony in Hiroshima on the 58th anniversary of its atomic bombing, reported by Hideshi Hara. The speeches were read by John Northcott. Thank you.